This movie is based on a video game which tells a story about Nathan Drake, who is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sullivan to recover a fortune that lost 500 years ago. What starts as a his job for the duo becomes a globe-trotting white-knuckle race to reach the prize before the ruthless Santiago, who believes he and his family are the rightful heirs. If Nate and Sully can decipher the clues and solve one of the world's oldest mysteries, they stand to find $5 billion in treasure and perhaps even Nate's long-lost brother, but only if they can learn to work together. First of all, despite the promise and all that time expended to make this movie, the result is a disappointment. Uncharted games are focused squarely around a protagonist being forced through one dynamic set piece after another in a style so fluidly cinematic that it could be translated near verbatim to live action. Yet, when you get into what Uncharted really is, it's clear that bringing the globe-trotting action-adventure series to the big screen is a little trickier than it first seems, as the movie ultimately fails to reconcile. It's no secret that the games owe a massive debt to Indiana Jones movies. Unfortunately, this movie now ends up feeling like a dull copy of Indiana Jones. Converting that inspiration back into a movie ends up looking derivative. While the script is aware of its influences, any nods to it just highlight the better movie you could be watching. This movie is patronizingly low-effort ride that lacks both the gut-wrenching suspense and organic good humor of its immediate source material. This adaptation is lacking on spectacle and light on heart. For die-hard fans of the games, there's little that lives up to their ingeniously unfolding action set pieces. As the cast nears its end, we get the standout set piece as Nate and Sully battle baddies on two boats suspended in mid-air. That's the only inventive and impressive action scene in scale, something sorely missing from the other set pieces. The problem first and foremost is that neither Tom Holland nor Mark Wahlberg are particularly well suited to their parts. Fans have long decried Holland being considerably younger than the Nate from the games, and it's difficult not to view that casting decision through the cynical lens of a Hollywood studio. One can easily picture the Sony executives picking Holland on the pure basis of his success playing Spider-Man. Peter Parker and Nathan Drake are very different characters, even ignoring their ages, and yet Holland's Nate feels more or less a sublimation of his Peter Parker. In Holland's first scene, he apologizes to a faceless henchman, which is far too Peter Parker for Drake. It's as if the studio didn't trust his charisma away from Spider-Man, and while his performance is good, the script puts his characterization all over the place. The characterizations here are more likely to annoy than delight the hardcore fans. Mark Wahlberg too is given a Sully who is far less supportive than in the games, actively prickly and sometimes outright hostile. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, two actors who can be charming and funny individually, but who struggle to muster up much in the way of comic chemistry here. It doesn't help that the dialogue they're given is significantly lamer than that uttered by their video game counterparts. Antonio Banderas likewise makes for a colorless villain, with monologues about diversified investment so inert that even his goons look bored. Overall, this movie is a really disappointing adaptation of its source material. It's plodding around an all too familiar map. We do not recommend this movie at all.